Today is technically October 27th. It is after midnight Eastern time on October 27th. I am at homecoming, so if any of the Panthers, the 2010 Panthers specifically, are watching this, if you stayed at the Hotel Indigo, I am at our host hotel. But anyways, burning fire. It is the morning of the 27th. I have been here since last Thursday, which was the 23rd. Have done all the homecoming things, have eaten indulgent foods, lots of dairy, feels like a lot, but quite a bit of dairy, quite a bit of alcohol. Technically was never out of the original flare-up, was just having numbness in other places. That is a bit more pronounced. I think I am currently dealing with something called MS Hug, which is feels like a band around your belly. It's felt like that for a few days now. I don't really drink unless I'm in social settings. I've been in very social settings the past few days. And I've had, except for today, at least one alcoholic beverage since Wednesday. I don't think I'm going to be drinking anymore unless I can find some research on things that shows that there are some anti-inflammatory alcohols, probably red wine, which I don't really care for. So probably won't be drinking anymore because my hands are swollen. It may not look like it to some people, but yeah, these are my homecoming nails, just for evidence that this is actually happening during homecoming. But my fingers are swollen, the tips of them are like red and numb. My knees are kind of, I think they're just kind of overexerted. I did a very hardcore workout on Friday morning. Haven't worked out since. I don't think that helped me. Do you do a lot of standing and walking at homecoming? So both of my knees, but my right knee is more pronounced, is very swollen. I've probably got fluid in all of my lower extremities. I'm pretty sure it's MS Hug that I'm dealing with. We'll find out from my doctor when I go see her on Wednesday. Had to call in an emergency script for prednisone, which are steroids, to help with some of the inflammation and swelling. Yeah, I feel good. I feel okay. I'm not comfortable. So if you saw me at homecoming, and I wasn't moving as much, but to be fair, I was under the 2010 tent and I was happy because I saw all of my classmates, but didn't walk around homecoming. That was not going to be helpful for me, but I did a little bit of cutting up, and maybe that contributed to it too. Wore heels like 2 days in a row, but they were block heels and they were like under 3 inches, so it might have irritated it a little bit, but I don't think as much as the drinking and the walking and the dairy. So I'm gonna do like a cleanse of sorts, like a reset, and then I'm gonna cut. I'm done with sodas. I haven't had sodas in weeks, really. But no soda, no alcohol. I'm gonna see about no fried food. I'll try with no fried food, no dairy, and see how that helps, because of all the things that I think might be irritating it. My MS, by the way, if you're just checking in, I think alcohol for sure, definitely dairy, fried food, probably bread. Bread is the one thing that I wouldn't want to give up out of all of those things. I really don't want to give up fried food either, because I do love me some deep fried catfish, but we're gonna slowly take all of the things that I might eat, we're not slowly, we're going to abruptly take all of the foods that I think might be irritating a flare-up or exacerbating a flare-up out of my diet, and then just do like a reset, and then maybe try reintroducing things and see how my body responds post treatment as well, because I haven't been on any sort of like MS specific medications since I got out of the hospital. And so I've been taking vitamin B12, I've been taking vitamin D, I have gabapentin as needed, but I haven't had steroids or any other like targeted multiple sclerosis medications. So we were just kind of out here seeing what my body was doing, and my body was like, girl, you're doing a lot of things right now. All the things that I'm used to doing, but chronic illness makes it to where some of those things have to change. The things I want to keep the most are bread and high heels. If I could pick three, it's bread, fried food, and high heels. If I have to give up dairy and alcohol and soda altogether, I will. That is totally fine. I have no problem with that. But the other three things I would want to keep, the thing that is most important is my heels. I have over 40 pairs of stilettos in my closet. Maybe I don't wear them as regularly as I do, but I feel like that would be the thing that would make me feel like the disease is taking things from me, because I've always wanted to cut dairy, truly. I'm truly a social drinker, and I can be social without alcohol. I'm an extrovert, so it doesn't bother me. I love my deep fried catfish. I am a Mississippi girl, so that would be difficult, but I can do it if I need to. But my stilettos would be a hard thing to give up, and I don't want to, and I'm not going to claim it. And maybe once I get some, medicine in my system and some physical therapy and some time passes, because I'm still in the initial flare-up, not technically, actually, because you have to be 30 days without new or worsening symptoms to be out of a flare-up. And my hospitalization was from October 6th through the 9th, and today is the 27th. So we're like maybe 2.5 weeks, and there's not been a day where I've been asymptomatic at all. So we're still in the thick of it, but that is my little like entry for the day. I will keep adding to this little like diary. But yeah, this is a journey for me. By the time y'all see this, I will maybe be 4.5, 5 months in. So curious to see where things go. Hopeful that things will get better. Like I said, I've not gotten any sort of like treatment plan with my neurologist, so we're just kind of here figuring things out, but wanted to do this in real time because I think that is the most accurate and the most honest reflection. I don't want to be the person who cries on camera, but I get a feeling that MS is going to make me cry on camera. But I don't want to give up my life. I don't want to give up the things that I enjoy in life for this disease that really bring me joy. Like, I enjoy a milkshake, but I'll be okay. I can get a coconut cream milkshake. It's not the end of the world. But there's really no substitute for a 4-inch heel. You know what I mean? There's really nothing that I can change that for. A black heel is cute for some, but sometimes you just need a pencil thin stiletto. You know, sometimes you need that. I need that. Maybe you don't, but I do. But yeah, I don't know a whole lot about MS. I don't really know anybody else who has MS. And so I'm not navigating the journey alone, but I'm the only person that I know personally who is living with a chronic illness, with this chronic illness anyway. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It is, it's been a very interesting 2025, but I'm hopeful that things will get better. Things have to get better. And I'm gonna have joy no matter what happens. That has been sort of my form of resistance, is my joy. So I was gonna come to homecoming and I was gonna kiki and cackle with my classmates, and I was gonna hug people, and I was gonna take pictures, and I was gonna enjoy the parts of my life that bring me joy. And MS is not gonna take that away from me. It makes me think of a certain film where one of the characters said, "This is not gonna beat me." I was born XYZ name, I'm gonna die by XYZ name. And that's sort of my resolve, is that it can make me numb, it can slow me down, it can make it to where there's certain things that I have to remove from my diet. It may make it to where I have more specialists than I had before, but it can't take my joy. I won't let it. Anyway, that's all for tonight. Good night. Oh, also, to show y'all that I'm really out here in these people's hotel. It's real life, and we gonna live it. You guys. Okay, so I just left my very first post-hospitalization neurology follow-up. Let's see. I have what is being described as moderate MS. I think she probably thinks it's more severe, but she don't want to terrify me. Treatment. I will, oops, it's raining. I will have to do likely. We have to wait for the insurance approval. We have to wait for people who are not medical professionals to tell me whether or not the medicine that my doctor thinks I should be taking is something they're willing to pay for. Thank you, capitalism. Thank you, a jacked up U.S. healthcare system. It's a mess. I look like a floating head. I'm going to take this off. But treatment is, I'm going to have to do, at least to start, infusions every 6 months. That will take 4 hours if there's one that gets approved. And then another one that is 3 hours to start, and then an hour after that. So these are going to be a large part of my life. Thankfully, I only have to do them every 6 months. There was an option to do like an infusion at the neurology center and then an infusion at the house where I stabbed my own self in the leg. I said, girl, that's not going to be the one that we do unless they tell me that's the only one they'll pay for. And then one of y'all finna have to come be my nurse. I'm not built for it. How do I feel? It's very overwhelming. It's a lot of information because I also asked about like non-medical things that I can do to help. By the way, muscle relaxers, which is what they give you to help with spasticity, which is basically like your muscles, tweaking inside your body, cause chronic constipation. Maybe that's TMI. Steroids also cause constipation. And what are my interim treatment medications? Gabapentin and prednisone, a muscle relaxer and a steroid. So I am going to be, my medicine cabinet is about to look like my grandmother's. I got to get some Benefiber because I need fiber that has a prebiotic. So she told me she does not recommend Metamucil. So I won't be doing that. Magnesium oxide helps with getting things to flow. Miralax, which I was already taking but felt too effective because I'm like, it's a little too soft. What else did she say? An anti-inflammatory diet, which I think will be very helpful. Lots of stretching. I'm really good about stretching before I work out. I'm not really good about stretching after workouts. She was like, you need to stretch after your workouts. So she recommends some yoga. Does recommend Pilates. I got to get full sensation back in my feet before I can go back to reformer Pilates. I miss my girls, but I'm going back. She's a Pilates baddie. Another thing, my weight is going up and down like crazy. This also might be grief, so shout out to my little brother for kickstarting my weight loss journey. I'm a millennial. Dark humor is how we cope. I lost like 10 pounds in less than a month and then gained 5 pounds back, but I also was like drinking and eating chicken wings and running around the yard at Clark Atlanta University homecoming this past weekend. So maybe some of that is that. She was like, they do cause you to retain water. So whatever is on the scale right now is a scheme. That's how I set up. It's not real. It's all fake news. I did feel very overwhelmed. Chronic illness, like you hear it and you don't really understand for the rest of my life, which I hope is a very long time, I will be medically and non-medically managing this disease. And I've had to do that with migraines and depression and other things. It feels different when it's your body. It's not great when it's your brain either, but like I'm very aware of the fact that like I have no sensation. Like, well, no sensation is a little dramatic. I have very little sensation in this hand. This feels like I'm rubbing two pieces of sandpaper together. The only fingers that have full sensation are these two. These are numb. I've got what I think we call MS hug, which I may have mentioned, around my midsection, which just feels like I'm wearing a very tight rubber band belt at all times. It's worse when I'm sitting or laying down. When I'm standing, it's much better. Water helps. It's a lot of things. There were a couple people, older people, who were in wheelchairs, so that was a little like, I was like, I don't want that. What can I do to prevent that? Which is something my doctor is also very focused on. She was like, we don't want you to have a disability, even though what she did do is go and get her a little permanent disability handicap placard, because MS is chronic, which means it's permanent, which means I will always have this disease. I'm not tearful. Maybe I'll cry later. I don't think I will, though. It's just like, okay, well, I am convinced, good, bad, or indifferent, I will get all of my sensation back. These symptoms will go away. I will go on to lead a seemingly similar life to when I didn't have this disease. And so because I feel that way, I'm just like, okay, this is what we have to do. I have to take the medicines. I have to not really change my diet, because I had a pretty decent diet before. You know, I've got to be more mindful of stretching. I've got to be much more mindful of my water intake. I've got medication regimen now that I did not have before. So it does change your life, but it's not going to take over my life. Like, my brother passed, one of my really good friends passed, my sister's father passed, and at one point I felt like grief was my personality. MS is not going to be my personality. My personality is me. I am the personality. I just felt this really weird tweak, y'all. And that comes and goes too. It's like, all the muscles like start twerking together, but my life does not belong to this disease. And so, yeah, I'm gonna figure it out, because I don't really have any other choice, because I still can move my body. I am still independently living. I am still caring for myself. Things that you can take for granted when your body feels seemingly healthy hit different now. Like I said, I was one of the youngest people in the lobby that was a patient, so that was a little jarring. I was one of the only ones who was not being assisted by someone in some sort of mobility device, whether that was a walker or a wheelchair. And I wanted to stay that way. My fave, Tamia Marilyn Hill, has MS, has had MS for over 20 years, and is still out here touring and dancing and singing and wearing stilettos, because I told y'all I'm not giving up my closet. And so I'm like, it gets better. And I have to remind myself, I was diagnosed with this disease 3 weeks ago. We are still this is still the first flare-up. Like, we haven't even gotten out of the woods of that. This is still the first one. So that's what I'm reminding myself of. So I think I'm just kind of rambling at this point. I'm gonna end this video. But I'm recording this to look back on for myself, and to share more information about like what it means to live with this disease, because I don't know anybody who has MS, and I don't really know what it looks like day to day for anyone. And it is more common in Black women. And in case you hadn't noticed, that is she. It is me. And I think we are socialized to carry the burdens of others, to prioritize others, to deprioritize self. And I can see how a disease that is triggered by stress could be very common in our community. And I am so uninvested in anything that causes me stress. The second it feels stressful, I'm out. Relationships, familial, romantic, platonic, doesn't matter. You causing me stress, baby, you got to go. I love my job. I like my job. I care about my job. At any point, if my job feels too stressful, I gotta go. And nothing is that important to stress me out. Literally nothing is important enough for me to have my body, which is already fighting an autoimmune disease, which means your body is turning on you because of whatever people think I should be doing or they expect of me. I am not your mule. I am not your burden bearer. I'm not your heavy load sharer. You better call Jesus on the main line. I heard he can help you with that kind of thing. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go because I need to eat. And then I gotta go back to, them people's job. Bye. You guys, today is November 3rd. It's my younger brother's birthday. He turned 28. It's a somber birthday because it is his first birthday without my younger brother, his big brother. But also it's I think the first family milestone since my younger brother passed away. I'm trying to get this, whatever this blue light is out. It's weird. Y'all just got to deal with it. Is that a ghost? What is that? Oh no, that's a light. Casanora. Anyway, so sitting in my car, I might describe it as pain. It is past discomfort. More MS hug stuff. So I keep meaning to start a targeted and intentional anti-inflammatory diet, and then I just haven't done enough research to identify what I can eat and still have food and be truly anti-inflammatory. And I had a drink last night, and I had a Thai coffee which has dairy, even though because I am anemic and I have low vitamin D and I need the calcium and I have a paternal history of bone cancer, my doctor doesn't think I need to cut dairy, but I know dairy makes me. So it's probably just going to have to be Greek yogurt and shit. Anyways, MS hug is really uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable. It literally feels like somebody has a belt around my rib cage and they're just this is probably the most uncomfortable I've ever been. I am on lots of medications. So I have prednisone, which is supposed to help with the inflammation, which it does help with. I can feel shit in this hand. Feels like concrete, and I can feel these two fingers, and I can't feel shit over here. And I got this thing that feels like somebody took a rubber band and put it around my rib cage. My knees, I feel like I got fluid on my knees. I think they're just bent for too long. So that's the thing. I can't sit or lie down for more than an hour, or things start going numb and I start to feel uncomfortable, which is a very interesting experience when I wake up in the morning because we're supposed to get several hours of sleep every night. So that's fun. Let's see what else. I'm very uncomfortable. Oh my God. And then I'm experiencing back to the medicines. Child, I didn't even tell y'all all the stuff they got me on. The prednisone is a steroid, which tastes god-awful. And I can never swallow it fast enough without tasting it. It's disgusting. But it is helping some. I am on gabapentin, which is supposed to help with nerve pain, which I don't have nerve pain. I have numbness. I am on a muscle relaxer, which I don't think is strong enough. So I will be messaging that woman tonight and being what else can you give me? Because I'm not happy. And I know they always start you with a low dose. Start me with something else. Because apparently I'm on a 10 milligram and it can go up to 80. I'm not saying give me 80, but maybe let's try 20. This is the worst. Well, the worst is dramatic. I don't like it at all. It's the worst symptom I've experienced. Even my leg being numb is not as bad. And not being able to feel that my feet are sliding out of my shoes is not as bad as this. Because I have what's called, I think that's all the medicines. That's all the medicines. And then I'm on ibuprofen as needed, which I don't want to take too much of because apparently it can cause damage to one of the organs, the liver, the kidney, the thigh bone connected to the knee bone, whatever. Vitamin D, vitamin B12, magnesium glycinate, fiber. I gotta take Bent fiber because it's the fiber powder with the prebiotic in it. I got a whole medicine cabinet. I'm gonna show y'all a picture. I feel like my grandmother. I now had to buy a pill case. I had to find a cute one because I'm like, I can't have one of them plastic ones with the 7-day tab. I'm too young to be feeling this old now. Hold on now. Shit. But yeah, all these medications, all these vitamins, still extremely uncomfortable. Still technically in the first flare-up because I haven't had one single day without symptoms yet. And sometimes they say it takes weeks or months for all of the symptoms to go away. And then you could just have another flare-up 30 days later. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. Okay? Fuck it. Fuck it. Yeah, y'all see my nails? Fuck it. Probably rambling. I'm really uncomfortable and actually need to get up and stand up because standing is actually helpful. And I had to drive 30 minutes home, which means my body is like, we've been sitting for too long. Get up. We're not happy. Autoimmune is really just your body is your op. How I made this body from scratch. Well, my mama made it from scratch. But then, like, I helped. All for it to turn on me. Isn't that the wildest shit? Never thought I would be my own op. Crazy, dog. That's crazy work. It's crazy, nasty, treacherous, diabolical work. 0 stars. Would not recommend. So yeah. I'm going to send a message. I have been messaging this woman in the portal. She might be sick of me. Baby, I don't care. You know what I'm sick of? Feeling like somebody is inside my body doing this. I feel like somebody choking me around my waist. And not the fun times that you can have when somebody do that. This is just, I shouldn't have done that. That made it worse. That wasn't smart. And now, there's spasms. I was supposed to explain to y'all what spasticity is. So the reason I'm on the muscle relaxer is because the MS hug is spasticity. And my understanding, I am a doctor of education, not a medical doctor, but my understanding of this is spasticity is basically when your muscles are flexed at all times. So the muscles in my abdomen, like if you make a bicep, you know that muscle for some of y'all that come up, basically it's like I'm in an active crunch all day long. And obviously, when your muscles are flexing, your muscles are burning calories. I have lost like 10 pounds in less than a month. I haven't been to anybody's workout anything. I worked out one time at homecoming and I got overheated. So I haven't worked out since then. But the last time I worked out was sometime in late September. I did not work out really the entire month of October. I am pre-MS diagnosis. I'm about 8 pounds away from my goal weight. So sure, I'm losing weight, but that's thanks to hypertonia. What is hypertonia? It's when your muscles is doing this all the time. This is why you don't ask people, or unless you know somebody has been on an active, intentional weight loss regimen, don't be commenting on people's bodies changes in general. Because sure, I look great. My entire ribcage is swollen though. Like even though I'm losing weight, I am wider around my middle than I was probably, or I feel that way, a month and a half ago. So yeah, I'm losing weight. Between the hypertonia and the grief, I might be back to my pre-pandemic weight. It's not gonna be the pre-pandemic body, clearly. I didn't have multiple sclerosis prior to the pandemic. But that's it. That's today's rant. Yeah, I am so uncomfortable. I haven't cried about it. I was close. But like when niggas say chronic, they're not talking about that good shit that Dre and Snoop was smoking. It's all the time. Every day. Not necessarily all day, but every day. I will be dealing with this every day for the rest of the life that the Lord gives me. Even if it's just the fact that I will have to take these medications every day. My life is changed forever because I'm going to always have to take vitamin D. I'm going to always have to take vitamin B12. I'm going to always have to take magnesium glycinate. I'm going to always have to be even more conscious of the foods that I'm putting into my body to make sure that they are anti-inflammatory so that I don't have a flare-up. You know what causes inflammation? Fried catfish. Not the fish, the fried part. I'm from Mississippi. And then you got to decide, I guess this is like y'all people who lactose, who not supposed to have dairy, but you decide you're going to have ice cream anyway. I got to decide whether or not I'm going to have some catfish when I go home or not. And is it worth the flare-up that might come? That's what chronic is. It's every day. It's every day for the rest of your days. Yeah. That's I'm going to talk about that with my therapist because that's a lot. Oh, also, did I show y'all this? I had to get one of these. Yeah, I had to get one of them. Because multiple sclerosis is chronic, which means it's permanent. And I can't walk from the parking garage at Vanderbilt to my office. Because that's like 15 minutes. And my body will be like, oh, you tripping. So now I got some placard. I will say this. Premium parking. At what cost? You know, a pretty high price if you ask me, especially once I figure out what this final doctor bill is going to be for a 4-day, 3-night stay at the VUMC resort. But yeah, if you ever ride with me, we always going to be curbside, baby. You know, I guess you got to count it all joy. I'm about to go eat fried rice, which I probably also shouldn't be eating, but I'll start the anti-inflammatory diet Friday or something. I don't know.